Good morning, everyone. And the other side. Lee circles. And reverse. And shoe circles. And reverse. And ping circles. And reverse. And reverse. and block. Okay, you can put away your sticks. Okay, over the last couple of days, we've gone over a lot of theory. So today we're going to do a little practice, but I wanted to start out with picking up one thing that I did not have a chance to mention yesterday, and that is the application of silk reeling to Tai Chi. Silk reeling is the heart of Tai Chi. That's what Tai Chi is all about. So I'm going to give you a very simple illustration. Remember, we were talking about the Qi path. And the Qi path goes from the mind to the dantian to the ground, back to the dantian, and then out to whatever part of your body is going to do the application. So if I just demonstrate that, remember yesterday we were doing these movements here. Those are strikes. All right? The reason they work is you've got your whole body behind them. It's not just your arm, it's everything. And force is mass times acceleration. All right? So you're using the whole body and the Qi path to create this this energy. So what have the spirals got to do with it? The spirals are the most efficient way to move the energy through your body because your body just naturally moves in spirals. So if you were going to use this kind of thing for Tai Chi, for a martial application, this might be a strike, or it could be a push, right? And it can be sort of long range, or it can be relatively short range. But what you're doing when you make the application is something called fa jin. Fa means to hit, all right? Jin means energy, so it's hitting energy, right? It's striking energy. So again, if you're gonna pop somebody with your hand like that, so for instance, an open palm strike right up under the nose usually stops any fight. But how do you do that? Well, the way a lot of people do it is just to go from the shoulder. And if you get hit in the nose, it'll still hurt, believe me. But it's very different from the person's whole body hitting you under the nose, right? It also allows you to be very fast because you're using the most efficient lines of force in the body through these spirals. They can be very fast. You have to practice a lot to just get very used to that idea. I mean, not in your head, but in your body, so that it just comes very naturally. You're never going to have time to think about this. You just have to be able to do it. It's kind of like those of you who watch baseball, it's like being Shohei Ohtani, right? You just have to know how to hit the ball. You don't have time to think about it when you're up at the plate. So you practice in silk reeling and in the Tai Chi forms. And Fa Jin is, how can I say, I've never tried to explain this in so many words. Master Zhang used to say it this way: if you get hit by someone in one of the exterior martial arts, like Shaolin, right? They're going to hit you with their body. He said, it's going to hurt. It's like getting shot by a bullet. When you get hit by a real Tai Chi player, it's different. It's not like getting hit by a bullet. It's like getting hit by an ICBM. Because the whole practice is not to hit you with the physical body. It's to push a package of chi into the other person's body where it then explodes. That's why it's like an ICBM. There are very, very few Tai Chi players who can do that. But that's the idea of Fa Jin, means that striking, that exploding. Maybe a better definition would be exploding. Fa means literally a hit, but exploding energy might be a different, a better translation of that, right? So what you do is you just relax. This is a strike, 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 strike. You know, follow those spirals, and they just, you don't have to create them. You just can feel them in your body. When you do it, it looks like this. You're still doing the spirals. You're still involving the whole body. But you snap the whole body. And that snap of energy is what goes into the other person. Now, we're not here to learn martial arts. We're here to learn a health art. Nevertheless, it's really good to kind of understand the full spectrum of possibilities within these moves. Because then you might be inspired, not so much to do Fa Jin, but to do it sometimes a little more vigorously. Right? And after you get a feeling for it after a couple of years, you might try a little Fa Jin. It's not the speed that matters. It's the ball of energy that you're putting in. So it's kind of like those goofy Qigong movies where the guy throws a ball of energy. That's a kind of silly version of this. The energy is in your body, right? But you can, believe me, push it into the other person. Think of a really good masseuse. If you've ever been to a really exceptional masseuse, they will put their energy into your body, and you can feel it happen. Right? There aren't many that can do it, but there are some who can. Right? That ball of energy goes in. The snap, it kind of looks like it's happening with the hands and the arms, but it's not. It's happening with the whole body. The center of the trunk, the waist, the quad, all the way to the feet. It's exactly what we've been doing the last few days. All right? Everything moves. Everything moves. It's the body. It's just like my old friend, right? It's just like snapping a towel. The whole towel goes. And the whole thing stays soft until the very end. Okay, that's energy coming out from your body. So, what kind of energy is that? Jill, what kind of energy is the energy that comes out from your body?
Yang.
It's yang energy. When do you apply yang energy? You're in a match with another person. When do you apply the yang energy?
Right at the moment that you can't make contact, or you're looking
Some
for
people,
something else.
some people do it that kind of way, but they almost always lose. Why? When you're young, when do you apply the energy to the other person? When they are
Yin.
in. Exactly. So the primary um, talent that you have to develop in yourself is called Ting Jin. Ting Jin. Ting means your ear. Jin is the energy. The energy of the ear is the ability to hear. It's a metaphor. When you tie up with someone else, you listen to their energy body. And when you hear them go yin, that's when you can safely apply yang. I'll give you an example. I went and had lunch with a couple of old students yesterday down in Portland. And after lunch, we stood out. We stood out on the sidewalk and just fooled around a little bit with a little push hands. And the guy I was pushing with, the first thing he would do. All right, so we're pushing in a circle like this, just one-handed pushes. All right. The first thing he would do is he would disappear a little bit ahead of me. He's doing something called anticipating. He's not waiting for me. He's leaving before I get there. You don't want to do that because it breaks the contact. All right? Second thing he started to do then was to be too hard. When you push with someone, it's quite soft. Right? Why do you want to be so soft? Because you're practicing listening. And it's not, that's a metaphor. You are using your whole body sensorium, which also includes some things which are purely mental. And you're listening to this person. When you can do this with your eyes closed. It's a good practice to do it with your eyes closed. If you've developed this ability, you can tell where their feet are. You can tell where their weight is. Is it in the back foot? Is it in the front foot? Is it coming in between? You know what their waist is doing. You know what their spine is doing. You can feel all these things. It's not magic. It's a very human thing. It's just we never look at it. We never practice it. So when you're doing push hands with someone or when you're sparring with someone, you go in essentially in a meditative state. That is, with a clear and quiet mind, because your job is to listen. And in fact, you want to keep that no matter whether you go yang yin or stay neutral, you want to keep that quiet mind and listen. All right? And when you hear him go yin, I'll give you an example from yesterday. All right? So I'm doing circles with this guy, and I hear when we get to this point, boom, he's turning his body too much. He's turning his back to me. It's only maybe an inch or so. But when you turn away from someone, you've become yin. That's when I can be yang. So he would turn a little too much right there. Boom. You push him and off he goes. You're never trying to force someone on something. What you're trying to do, Master Zhang used to say, help them do what they want to do. So what he wanted to do was turn. All right, help him turn. Now he didn't mean to stumble out, but that's kind of the end. That turning away a little too much is a form of imbalance. He's no longer balanced. To keep himself balanced, now he has to tense up certain muscles. When he tenses up certain muscles, he's a sitting duck, right? So when you push yourself, you want to stay balanced. That also requires Tingjin. You're listening to yourself. All right, so there's the yang energy going on. What happens if the other guy, whether it's the right time or the wrong time, but what happens when the other guy applies yang energy to you? All right? So he's going to maybe push into your chest, say, or push your shoulders. He's yang. Maybe he's being really yang. What do?
Go yin.
You go yin. What does it mean to go yin? Well, the first thing is, instead of your energy going out, now your energy's coming in. But it's not just your energy, it's also his energy. So he's got his hands on you, he's pressing, right? Bring his energy in. Master Shang used to do that all the time. You push on him, he just grab your arm and pull it in. You want to push me? Good. Come on, push. Now, here's the big question. What do you do with his energy?
Well, you just keep it going in the direction it's. You help him do what he wants to do.
Yes, that's true, and off he can go. But very often you're in a situation where it's not as clear cut as that. Sometimes you get a clear boom, off they go. A lot of times it's more like a wrestling match. So here he's coming in like this, and you've got him, and boy, he's pushing on you. All right, how do you deal with his energy coming in when you can't just throw him away? All right, you got to deal with his energy this way. What do you do about it? Maybe he's a big guy. Maybe he's 220, 230 pounds, and he's reefing on you hard. What do you do?
I mean, if you just relax, his energy collapses. Maybe. I don't know.
There are instances when that is the right thing to do. But I'm going to say this is not one of those, because I want you guys to search for another particular answer. Yes, there are times when you do something called disappearing. You just disappear. And what that means is you just don't fight back. All right? So he's pushing on you. Rather than struggle with him, you just relax. And if you know how to deal with it, it's not the last thing you do, but it's one thing that you do, followed by a counterattack. But let's put that aside too. Let's say he's just a good wrestler and he's got you. His energy's coming into you. You've got to do something with it. What do you do with it?
Just you grab it, and, I don't know, and redirect it. I don't know.
Yes, redirect it where? This is the basis of all martial arts, not just Tai Chi. But Tai Chi really specializes in this. You have to ground it. His energy, yang energy coming in, is like a lightning strike. You've got to take that lightning through your body and ground it literally into the ground. Because otherwise, he's going to destroy your shoulder or your hip or whatever he's reefing on. So, you're going to have, let's say he's pushing on your chest and your shoulders. You're going to have to take that energy in and take it down to the ground so that it dissipates into the ground. When he's pushing on you, he's no longer pushing on you, he's pushing on the earth. Which is, he's probably not going to win that contest, right? So you become like a lightning rod, but the actual energy is going into the ground. Well, he's not going to be able to push the earth. The question is, how do you do it? And what has it got to do with what we've been talking about the last few days? Jill, I can see your mind working like that. How do you take it into your body? What path does the chi follow through your body to find the ground?
Same as any, uh, well, everything starts from the mind, but I would say you would pull it into your dantian.
Essentially, look, what we've been talking about with a strike is using the chi path. Boom, that's energy going out. You can also use it in reverse. When someone's putting their energy into you, you use the same chi path. Only instead of it coming up and out of you, now it's coming in and down. All right? So someone's pushing on you, watch my body. Right? It's closing. He's opening. You should be closing. He's going to keep pushing until he feels in his body. Now, you know, all this happens in a split second. So he feels in his body that he can't go any further. If he pushes any further, he's going to lose his balance. All right? So he's going to stop his yang at some point, and it's going to revert into him going back into yin to go back. Make sense? It always happens this way. All right? You are listening. So when you hear him change from yang to yin, that's when you counterattack. So it's all about timing, and it's all about controlling your own energy as well as your sparring partner's energy.
So,
Right?
so what you're saying is that it's actually finding the moment right before it changes, right? Because it's you're pulling in that energy, but at a certain point, you're gonna have to.
Well, when I say you're pulling in his energy, you also have to take into account, and this is not something you do with your mind, you do it with your body. But when he begins the push, it's not that strong. But as he continues, it'll get stronger, 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 and then it will start to get weaker, 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 weaker as he starts to lose his balance. He's going to shift from yang to yin when he feels it reach a kind of weak point. And he feels weak, like, oh, I'm almost ready to lose my balance. So it's not that strong. No, you do not do it the second before, and I'll tell you why. If the other guy is well trained and you do it the second before he shifts, he's going to hear that. And since you have not timed your counterattack correctly, he's going to counterattack your counterattack. And he'll probably win. So, Tai Chi push hands is like a chess game. And it depends not on physical strength, but on your ability to perceive the flow of energy in yourself, in your training partner, and between the two of you. This can get very subtle, but it's also, once you sort of get onto this, and it takes a little while, like a few years, once you catch on to this, you can get very good at it. You don't have to be Bruce Lee. Right? Trust me, you don't have to be Bruce Lee. Right? But the point I wanted to make about this is when you receive energy, you use the same spirals and the same chi path that you use when you're pushing energy out. Energy comes in, energy goes out. You're always using the same spirals, whether they're opening out or whether they're closing down in. All right? And that includes if someone is really pushing on you. Or you may have a situation like I mentioned yesterday where I was up hiking and I lost my balanced. My foot went out from underneath me because we were on a sharp slope and there were, little round stones, right? You're not going to have time to think about anything. You just have your body just has to be relaxed enough, exactly like Kevin just said, that it just does what it needs to do. Right? When your foot goes out from underneath, that's like being tripped by someone in the martial arts. They're going to knock your foot out from underneath you and also push you in the chest at the same time. Boom, like that. That's what it's like. So it's like a yang energy coming into you. You relax and you respond so that you don't fall. It doesn't mean that it necessarily happens all the time, but what I'm trying to say is it's not just something in the martial arts, it's something you can use in your day-to-day life. Now that's kind of an extreme example, can be much quieter than that, but that's the advantage of learning this. You're actually learning about your own capacity. Tai Chi and Qigong will not give you anything that you don't already have. It's just a matter of understanding what it is you've got and then training it up. A piano, a guitar, they're not going to give you anything you don't already have. But you're going to have to do all the work, the technical work of developing articulation in the hands and an understanding. You're going to have to read music, and you're going to have to do all the technical stuff that underlies becoming a maestro or a virtuoso. All right? And anyone at all can become a virtuoso on a piano. I was just watching a little Chinese kid. He's 4 years old. I'm not kidding. He was 4 years old. And he plays like he's out of Juilliard or something. It's incredible. I mean, it's not just fast. It is actually with feeling. It's a classical piece. So you can be really young. You can be really old doing this. Kevin just sent me a picture of a Chinese guy on his 100th birthday doing, what was he doing? He was doing some, I can't remember if it was stick work or sword work, but he was doing, he looked great. It doesn't matter how young or old you are. It doesn't even matter it doesn't even matter whether you're a great athlete. You can have physical challenges. You can still do this. It's about moving your energy. And it really does work. As a guy with a really bad back, I can tell you, it really does work. All right, tell you what. Let's do 2 exercises. And I think we should be done with the talking for a while. So tomorrow and next week, we'll work on particular moves. But everything we've talked about for the last few days, think about those things and bring them into what we're doing in these exercises. Shift your weight, 100%. Watch my hands. All right. you're going to be using what's called the heel of the palm, right? To strike up into maybe up under someone's chin, right? So when you're down here, your hand is closed, right? When you're out here, your hand is open. Don't be thinking about striking somebody under the chin. The question is, how are you conforming your body? All right? You're closed on this side. You're closed. Now you're open. So you want your hand open. Feel your own energy. You can feel what happens when you just come up here with a weak hand. Feel the energy in the trunk. Right? Doesn't really go out. But now try this. Oh, now all this opens and it goes out. Good. Shoulders. Okay, first thing when you do shoulders, it's done in a horse stance. This is called, in this case, a left forward horse stance. I'm going to move, just stay where you're at, but watch this. I'm going to move this foot forward. I'm in a high horse stance. It's not this. And now you run into yourself and you fall over. It's not this, all right? It's this. So the heels of your 2 feet are about shoulder width apart. And then your, in this case, right toes, since your right leg is back, your right toes open about 30 degrees. All right? You're still in a horse stance, like you're riding a horse. What you're actually doing, all right, is turning. Turn. Turn, because you've opened your pelvis in this direction. All right? Remember, every circle, doesn't matter whether you're using your hand, your knees, your whole body, every circle has 4 energies. When you do this exercise, you've got to do all 4 energies or you're not doing the exercise. All right? Pung, Lu, On, Ji, Pung, Lu, On, Ji. Now I'm focusing on the shoulder here, but of course every part of your body is doing this. But since this is a shoulder reel, this is the place it's going to show up. What is Pung? It's expansion from the center. Pung. I'm expanding, but I'm not just expanding up here. I'm also expanding down there in every other direction, right? Pung. Lu is turning on your own axis. Lu. On is dropping down. And Ji is condensing back into the center. Expand, turn, drop, condense. Expand, turn, drop, condense. Expand, turn, drop, condense. Expand, turn, in this case back, so we're doing just the opposite of what I demonstrated. Right? Drop, condense. expand, turn, drop, condense. Expand, turn, drop, condense. And the opposite, expand, turn, drop, condense. Expand, turn, drop, condense. If you've ever watched a really good pianist play a piece and really watch their hands, there is a technology to playing the keyboard. You're not just flapping your hands there. Man, there are all kinds of different techniques, many invented by the Russians, right? And how you play, how you achieve notes. Wow, there's a real science to that. You practically have to be an engineer to develop that facility. It's the same with this, which means to really get this takes some work for a couple of years. After you've conquered that, then in a sense you can kind of forget about it because your body knows to do it. You don't have to think about it anymore. It's in you. The other side. Pum, Lu, on, Qi, expand, turn, drop, condense, Pum, Lu, on, Qi. In reverse. Pum, Lu, on, Qi, Pum, Lu, on, Qi. Each of those energies is created from the center, right? Pum, expand. Lu, turn. Right? On, condense, or excuse me, to drop. Right? And Qi, condense. All right, let's do them both alternates. All right. Okay, we'll end with this. I'm going to drive you a little crazy. Tai Chi and Qigong are not things you do with your mind, but the training is done through the mind, and at first it can get pretty complicated. Think about this, right? Pum, Lu, on, Qi, right? One side's doing that, the other side's doing just the opposite, right? I'm doing Pung on this side, but on this side. But a lot of this training is about developing coordination between the left and right side of the body, between the upper body and the lower body, and between the inner body, your energy body, and your outer body, your physical body. Those are the three inner harmonies. All right? So you're learning this side can be doing Pong at the same time this side is doing on. If you think about that, you'll go nuts. But let me show you something. right here. Pung on this side. On this side. You can throw an elbow without doing on the other side. Right? But if you add on, in this case, the left side, while you're trying to hit with an elbow with the right side, it's going to supercharge it. That energy going down, for every action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. So this side of the body is actually activating this side of the body. Boom. And that's exactly what you're practicing when you begin this practice. It's very gentle. So this is like doing finger exercises on a keyboard. Reverse. And double. I'll see if I can remember to get you guys a picture of Master Zhang and me doing a little push hands. This little motion with the shoulders, all right, it's an exercise. It's the beginning of doing something called feng kai, to split. Suppose someone comes up and they put their hands on your chest and they're going to shove you. You might have to be very quick when you do this, but what you do is you bring your chi up to their hands, right through the center of the body. And then the shoulders, the elbows, and the wrists come up, and you quote unquote split their hands. One hand goes to one side, the other hand goes to the other side. This exercise is to develop the inner core and the shoulders. Because those are the two hard ones. It's easy to think about your forearms and your wrists, but they need to be anchored into the whole body. All right, now we're just going to do the shoulders. And reverse. Okay, we will continue with this tomorrow. Guys, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Ciao.